We haven't done one of these for a minute, so let's see if we still remember how to do this. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. Now, as many of you may know, recently I lost the second job that funds my collecting budget, so it's fair to say that I haven't really been going out doing a lot of new figure buying recently, what with the lack of a budget. But that doesn't mean that I haven't been keeping an eye on how things look out there, like keeping an eye on what distribution looks like. I've made the joke on the channel before that sometimes it feels like the Midwest gets forgotten about by distribution, and that is, for the most part, usually true. But as I say, even though I've kind of been backing off with new purchases recently, I have been noticing some strange changes and evolutions in patterns with distribution in my local area lately. So I decided recently, let's go out and let's see what that looks like. Let's go out on the hunt.
I don't have time for games. I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt.
Now this is less a specific, we're going out looking for these specific toys or this specific toy on this hunt kind of hunt. This is more a state of distribution hunt. This is more me visiting my usual spots where I usually pick up Black Series and seeing what distribution looks like, seeing how we're looking in this kind of down period in the year, because there's no denying that the end of last year was very, very in your face, very, here are a bunch of new releases that you desperately want, one after the other. And the first quarter of this year is very much still winding down from that. We're still coming down from our Darth Malguses, our Darth Malaks, our Ahsoka Wave 2, that kind of thing. With all that said, I have reevaluated a recent decision that I made regarding the Bad Batch Season 2 figures. For the longest time, with the exception of Omega, I wasn't going to be picking them up because I love the original Bad Batch figures. They are fantastic. I didn't feel like I needed to pick up Season 2 as well. Well, with Season 3 currently coming out, I have been re-reminded how much I love these characters, and I have done a complete predictable 180 and gone back on that and decided, actually, I would rather like to get those figures. So you can call this a soft hunt for the Bad Batch Season 2 figures, as well as I recently decided I'm going to go out and find fives. I tried to pick them up off of eBay using a gift card, but it didn't work. So I've seen stories of people finding fives in person and in store, so stick him on there as well. But for the most part, this is just visiting my usual stops, the places I usually go, and just seeing what the shelves look like. So without further ado, let's get out there. Let's get on with this. Let's get on the hunt. The first stop is GameStop. Have a look-see and see what GameStop's looking like. So for the most part, GameStop has been brilliant. The last few Black Series purchases that I can think of came from GameStops. I got both my Shin and my Balin, both from GameStops, and they are all phenomenally well stocked. You know, I'm seeing a lot of the final Kenobi wave, the final Ahsoka wave, even some of the new Book of Boba Fett wave with that Tusken Chieftain and the Pike Foot Soldier. My local GameStop has a lot of the Andor wave that I still have yet to pick up, and they have shelves full of the deluxe Battle Damaged General Grievous figure, which is not one that I'm particularly in the market for unless I can get it severely marked down, but it's still great to see. GameStop are really on top of things. Usually, if there is a new figure that is just now coming out, swing by GameStop. That's where I can find it. Now, we've talked in the past about how GameStop's figures are usually marked up just a little bit, but I have my membership at GameStop, which knocks off $5 a month on any purchase, which means I get a slightly reduced price anyway. So most of the time, I'm just paying retail when it comes to GameStop. So they are fantastic. GameStop are brilliant. Let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about Maya. Have a look and see what we found. some very, very well-stocked shelves at Maya. Lots and lots of the Ahsoka wave, lots of those Ezras, the Ahsoka, the Morgan Elsbeth, all of those guys. You can usually pick up those HK droids from Mandalorian in there too, and tons of Chopper. Chopper is just everywhere in Maya, so if you are missing Chopper, if you missed out on that old Redline figure, get to a Maya, you might find one. Plus, of course, the classic peg warmers, the Redline Zori Bliss, and the Galaxy Line General Lando, still hanging around after several years after they have been released. Maya usually have a very well-stocked selection of the Micro Galaxy Squadrons vehicles as well. In fact, I picked up the Tartakovsky Clone Wars gunship from a Maya, so if you're in the market for any of those, maybe check out your local Maya. I know it's not like top of mind for, ooh, I know where to go and buy Black Series figures, the grocery store. But honestly, check it out, you might be surprised. Alright, let's talk about Walmart. Walmart is the place that I'm gonna find the figures that I am sort of looking for, so have a look-see and see what we found. Walmart is still very hit and miss. Sometimes you find a good one, sometimes you find a great one, and sometimes you find one that just has absolutely bugger all. But what have they got? Lots and lots of Andor stuff. I'm noticing that more and more in Walmarts. They have lots of the Andor line. They have lots of those deluxe Book of Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, and Grogu sets. They have lots of Chrysanthemum as well. But what about the stuff that we're actually looking for? Well, Bad Batch stuff is kind of few and far between in my area. I saw on Reddit today that someone was in Walmart and saw Bad Batch Season 2 Hunter on clearance. Now, Hunter is the reason that I didn't want to go out and collect these figures, because I remember all too well what happened with the last Hunter. I got mine, a lot of people didn't get theirs, and I never got my Crosshair. So it really is hit and miss. Some of these places have got lots and lots of these Bad Batch figures, but some of them have got nothing. Lots of decently stocked Micro Galaxy Squadron sections, lots of those Imperial shuttles, but Walmarts are still very kind of one note. You're gonna see Andor, you're gonna see some Book of Boba Fett deluxe figures, and that's pretty much it. One thing I will say, if you do go to the Star Wars section in your Walmart, you don't find what you're looking for, head to the end of the aisle and check out those little sort of half-stacked shelves, because sometimes on the other side, on like the Marvel Legends side, you might find what you're looking for. I actually was going to pick up Luthen because I had a gift card and I figured if I'm going to get him for free, I'll pick him up. So there's me walking out of the toy aisle with my Luthen, and I stuck my head around the corner, and that's where I found tech. So it's always worth checking a Walmart, and it's always worth checking in both places to see if you find what you're looking for. I want to have a little talk about Best Buy. Now, Best Buy used to be fantastic for finding Black Series figures. Back when I was collecting the Cantina band, I found a lot of them in Best Buys. Back when the Kenobi wave came out, I found pretty much all of my Kenobi Vaders that I bought, all of them from Best Buy. And I remember really sticking my neck out back when I did my places to buy Black Series figures, when I said Best Buy usually had the Best Buy. However, since the Kenobi wave, they're all gone. I don't even have any footage really to show you of my local Best Buy or any of the Best Buys that I've been to. I went to a Best Buy while we were down in Kentucky, so this isn't a Michigan-only problem. I think Best Buy have just stopped selling Black Series figures. Obviously, if anybody knows otherwise, please do let me know, but as far as my Best Buys and the Best Buys that I've been to, completely gone. No Black Series figures, and the staff that I have talked to have been like, oh yeah, we haven't seen those for months. I don't think we're getting any more in. So I guess that's the end of Black Series shopping in Best Buys. Since I mentioned that video, there was another store that I brought up back then called Second & Charles. Now, this is a chain of collectible stores where you can buy and sell and whatnot, and they usually have a pretty decent supply of Black Series figures. Have a look-see, see what we found. So stock is kind of limited. There are some really cool, very, very expensive exclusives in the glass cases. I saw the European Convention exclusive Cad Bane twin pack, the Walmart exclusive Clone Wars Ahsoka, lots and lots of really, really great stuff. But of course, Second and Charles pay attention to what the secondary market looks like, so a lot of those figures are very, very marked up. As for the general figures, the stock has kind of dwindled. There's a lot of red and black box series stuff that if you missed it when it came out, great, you're in luck. I actually do remember seeing, not recently, but a very long time ago, I remember seeing the original Redline Mandalorian in a Second and Charles. You know, there's a spattering of archive and galaxy stuff, but I kind of regret to say it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. The one that I go to still has that one Jackson figure that I still don't want. I just don't want it. A couple of rare exclusives, some bog standard Redline and Galaxy line. It's okay. It's really, I think we go in there more for the pop vinyl figures now, and I don't really collect those, so let's have a quick chat about Ollie's, because I've seen some great stuff being found at Ollie's recently online, so when I found out I have one in my local area, I thought, sod it, let's go and have a look, see what we can find. Kind of disappointing on the Ollie's front. I'm sure it's a store-by-store basis thing, but I don't really have anything interesting in mind. I've got a lot of the Dengar and Skiffguard Lando archive wave, a couple of Credit Collection Moff Gideons, which I think is the other figure that people use to modify the Shin and get her down to the right height, but really not much there. We are far removed from the days of, like, entire cases of figures being found. At least, again, it might be a store-by-store thing, but at least at my Ollie's, there's not really much to poke a stick at. Lastly, I want to talk about Target. Have a look at what we found in our Targets. Target has been weird recently. Target has been very, very weird. For a long time, it kind of felt like they were clearing their shelves of Black Series figures as if they were expecting some massive delivery of newer stuff. So for a really, really long time, every time I went in there, it was the same Hera and the same Ezra that had been there every other time I'd been there. And then when the new delivery finally arrived, it was the same wave. It's the same Ahsoka wave. It's Hera, Huyang, Ezra, Sabine sometimes, and lots of those Bo-Katan holo figures that I thought I'd be interested in, and then when I saw them in person I was like, maybe not. Target has traditionally been the place where I get most of my figures. I've gotten some really, really good ones from Targets. But I have to say, recently they've kind of been going downhill. Now that might be more to do with me. That might be more to do with the fact that there's not much right now that I'm really actually in the market for. Which has been great for my wallet, giving my wallet a break and all that, but it does kind of suck the fun out of it. When Target used to be one of those places where I could go and they'd always have a decently stocked section and I could pick and choose what I wanted, I am still quietly looking for that Target exclusive Dual Zen Vader, and I'm just coming up bust. I'm having no luck. I found Commander Apo, no problems whatsoever, but that Vader is just proving very, very elusive. And yeah, I know, all of these figures that I'm looking for, I could just go online and buy them, but I really, really prefer finding them in person. It's so much more fun. It's so much more rewarding. There's still some good stuff to be found in Targets, so if this is stuff that you're looking for, that's where you can find it. It's just not what I'm looking for right now. I think I'm very Walmart focused right now. So if I were to rank the 7 places that I've mentioned, I would do it more or less in the order that I've mentioned them. GameStop is reigning supreme, Maya is coming in surprisingly in 2nd place, I put Walmart in 3rd, Target just behind in 4th, and then getting more into the sort of Second and Charles in 5th, Ollie's at 6th, and Best Buy, sadly, falling off the bottom of the list at 7. So there you have it. That was sort of a state of distribution toy hunt. Now, honestly, it has felt like a really, really long time since we've done a speck of honest toy hunting here on the channel. So it is good to get back out there and see what the landscape is looking like. We may end up doing this again next week because we're going up north for the weekend, so we might hit some spots on the way back. May even do a little return to Fett's Toy Depot. I haven't been there for ages. That's a brilliant store. But yeah, let me pass this subject off to you. Seeing as we're kind of in the yearly drought of Black Series stuff, what does distribution look like in your area? What sort of stores are you going to? Any of my UK viewers, how's Forbidden Planet looking? Forbidden Planet used to be the place to go. Is it still good, or is it kind of fallen off? And hell, if you could go toy hunting anywhere in the world, where would you go? I would like to go to Japan, which may be happening sooner than expected. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. That was the State of Distribution Toy Hunt. You may subscribe when ready.